Good morning, Misty. Good morning, Miss Schmitz.
Schmitz.
What's up, Facebook? Good morning. Pre-show.
Jive. Okay.
Pre-show, pre-fun.
Check your levels and then we can start.
Dang, a lot of Missouri people this morning. That's cool. Ooh, an AOM meetup in Missouri.
Oh, dang.
AKA Barbecue Fest.
Dang.
Rip.
Joyce Meyer Fest. Okay.
You just want to go to Branson and hang out with old people.
Yes, I do. She's from Fenton.
Your mom is.
Not from Fenton. Okay. We ready? Check. Do your levels. Am I in levels?
Shower.
What? What'd you say?
He did a typo and it was funny.
Oh.
Okay.
Shower. Stop hijacking your shower. Okay, are we ready? Do your levels.
Check. Hello.
Okay. We ready?
Yes.
Okay.
We're bringing it today, people.
Hello and welcome to the Anatomy of Marriage podcast. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Good morning. My name is Seth Studley. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. Today is day 14 of the 100 days of AOM Q&A.
Today's topic is avoiding conflict but becoming like roommates. Actually, today's question.
Mm-hmm.
But before we dive into the question, we want you to go to audibletrial.com/anatomy of marriage to get a free audiobook on us because we love audiobooks and we love you.
What's
so
the one
do that.
What's the one you downloaded just now?
It's by Mel Robbins. I think it's called something like Controlling Fear or something.
Girl, Wash Your Face?
That is not from Mel Robbins.
I know, that's Rachel Hollis.
Good night.
Anyway.
Yeah, I said anyway first.
Every morning we do 4 things. We pray, we do a past gratitude, we answer questions, and we do a review of the day. And we also field some questions for folks who are coming in or tuning in from Facebook Live and also Instagram Live. So join us there. If you're not, it's a really fun community where we just goof off and answer real stuff. So check that out.
Do you want to go ahead and pray?
Sure. Thank you, God, Creator, for your blessings. Thank you for the opportunities that you give us every day. I pray for Robert and his wife. God, I pray for healing for her and support around that family. I pray the AOM community lifts them up and supports them and sends good things their way. Thank you, God. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Yesterday.
Past gratitude. Okay.
I'm thankful that you are invested in our kids in a really good way and took our middle kid to jiu-jitsu, and you are the feminine and the motherly and the awesomeness, and you bring that, and we wouldn't be complete if it weren't for you, so thank you.
I know. Just kidding. I thought it'd be so funny to say I know. And you apparently thought it was funny too. You're welcome.
Oh boy.
I know I said this one before, but thank you for 2 things: working out and being really like physically present with our children. Like, we go to the park and you climb. I mean, I do too, but you climb and you go up the slide and go down the slide and do everything. You play The Ground is Lava, and I just love it because
being physically fit is important.
Yes, physically
like
fit.
the lemur.
Physically fit.
That's what I was thinking of.
A child
Hey,
movie
what's up,
again.
Brad? Hey, LK Postula.
So,
friend, LK Postula.
actually, before we dive into this episode, I want to let you all know right now that there is an episode out that aired yesterday with Anthony O'Neill. And Anthony O'Neill is a Ramsey personality, but he is just awesome.
Yeah.
And we had such a great time interviewing him. I wish that the audio was better. I am not digging Skype audio. I got to figure something else out because it makes me mad. Because it sounds fine when you do it, and then you go back and you're like, this sounds like a Duke.
He's fun.
He's
he was
amazing.
chill. It was an awesome conversation. Him and Rachel Cruz have a book out called The Graduate's Guide. The 5 Things to the Graduate Survival Guide, or something like that. Go check it out. Follow his Instagram. He's all over the place, and he is really funny.
He really is.
And hopefully we'll
awesome.
get to meet him in October in Nashville. So go check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the review of the day.
So the review of the day. Sorry, here we go.
You want to read it?
Great podcast, 5 stars by Lisa OS7. I think I found your podcast last week and I've already listened to 10 to 15 episodes. I enjoy how real you both are and how during and after each podcast I think about myself and my issues in my marriage. Not only do I think about these things, but I am curious about how I can improve them. Thank you. Thank you for that 5-star review.
That's what it's all about. Learning new information, thinking about how you can apply it to your life, and
growth mindset.
Put it out there. That's right. Growth
Zone
mindset.
of proximal development.
Everything.
All of it. So our question we've got 2, but it says, my husband and I have been married 11 years. In the beginning, we fought a lot. I hate confrontation, and so I don't fight back. and I also make sure not to do or say things that start more fights. Over the years, we have become more like roommates. We rarely fight anymore, and if we do, it's never about anything real or important, because I no longer share anything real or important. He wants us to be closer, and I don't want to fight or have my vulnerability used against me as fuel for a fight. How do we become closer after all this time? It feels like we are living our own separate lives, and honestly, it's comfortable in this safe place, but we really don't have a close relationship either. P.S. My parents' relationship is two completely separate people living in the same house, but they don't talk to each other or communicate or even really get along, and my husband doesn't want to end up like that. This is a loaded question.
This is a lot of stuff. So the caveat at the end just makes me go directly to family of origin. You are playing out your family of origin, which we all do.
Whether
right?
or not you want to, you are.
Whether or not you want to. And at the end, you also said, my husband doesn't want to live like that.
Yeah.
So, we don't point fingers, but if I see something, I like to talk about it, right? So you said, my husband doesn't want to live like that. Do you want to live like that? Are you okay with living like that? And it may be easier, it may be safer, but it's like eating McDonald's or fast food. It's easy, it's cheap, it's super safe, it's on the way home. I don't have to work hard for it, but it's unhealthy, I don't feel good, and it's not completely satisfying, right? Relationships are much like that, and I would say I would take a really good look about how you view your own family of origin. Do you actually want, let's just kind of play this out 4 years from now, 2 years from now even, will you be in the same situation 2 years from now? Will you be asking the same question from a different resource out there? I don't know. Are you okay with that? Is that what you want? And if it is, then there may not be much we can do about it right now if that's what you want, right? But I have a feeling that you're writing in because you know that something's wrong. You know that something doesn't feel right. And you want some, some push or some extra help to that. So I think where I would start is, let's don't look at my husband, let's don't look at my partner, let's look at my family of origin and myself and ask myself these questions and go through an inventory, do some Enneagram work, do some family tree work, some Geneagram work. How did you feel? I don't know if you guys have kids. How did you feel when you were growing up in your family of origin? Where you're like, oh, my parents are weird, this is awkward, I don't know. Because if that was, then that's what you're going to perpetuate, right? What are your thoughts on that?
I would start at a different place, and I would have a sort of a different long view take on it. But the thing that I would say is, what stood out to me is that you say you don't want to, you're conflict avoiding, but almost you're not conflict avoiding, you're connected avoiding, you're connection avoiding. So what I get the sense
Attachment.
of, why are you paused due to poor connection? Darn it, whatever. So Instagram is paused apparently. But what I get the sense of is that you're afraid to be known. You're afraid to actually, because I think you will feel judged. You probably felt that in your home growing up. I could be totally off. But the image that comes to my mind is that you're in on a beach with sand, and you've drawn a big circle around yourself, and you're like, you're not getting past this circle, and I'm not going to walk out of this circle, and we're all going to be fine. And you think that that's going to bear fruit, but it won't. So in order to bear fruit, you need to sow into the ground, you need to plant seeds, you need to water, you need to go from a rain source to the plants, and you have to move around this space. You cannot sit in one circle with a line around you saying, don't come in, I'm not going out of this circle, and then expect flourishing and growth and a happy, fulfilled life. So that is sustainable for a while. Sitting in that circle is sustainable for a while. But there will come a day when you are either so bitter or so disconnected that you're like, forget all the circle, forget everyone, I don't care, I'm out, peace, I've not liked this for so long.
Will be too. Like these things they take a long time to form, good or bad, and then the realization of that, it's almost like, oh crap, this is like a glacier that I cannot stop kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you can sit there so long that you have developed no other skills, you bear no other fruit, so you just say, well, I'm going to leave. I'm just going to pack my bags and go, or whatever that looks like, or stay like this forever and hate my life.
Right.
So the first thing I would say is that conflict avoidant is one thing, but you're actually avoiding sharing because something within you is saying it's too scary to share, right? So it's Sherry. I thought that would be funny to say. It's too scary to share. But I would highly recommend reading the book by Kyle Cease. I hope I screw this up. He talks about fear and how we live in this bubble of fear, but because it's the only thing we know, so we think that it's right and it's really not, and we fear what people will think about us. And if you've heard the episode that I did a while back where I was telling Seth that I was afraid to be loving and kind to him because I was afraid that he would reject me, that's kind of the vibe that I get that you're saying. I'm afraid to actually connect with my partner because what if he rejects me? What if he thinks it's dumb? So I won't connect and I'll pretend that it's totally fine. And I feel like I'm being kind of mean, but whatever. I'm not trying to be mean, but I think it's really important to assess and think about what are you actually doing? What are you actually keeping from your partner? Because I don't think it's only avoiding conflict. The second part about that is, why is conflict so scary? Do your Enneagram number. Figure it out. What number are you? Are you like a conflict avoiding number on the Enneagram? Or is avoiding conflict just you're well, I don't want to feel bad. I'd rather eat McDonald's than have to cook. That will eventually kill you. That's not going to be good for you. So I would say in asking yourself, why is conflict so challenging? I would then kind of flip it on its ear and say, am I strong enough to do this? Yes. Yes, you are strong enough to do it. You do have children. You have a relationship. Turn it on its ear and start doing hard things on purpose. That doesn't mean go after arguments, but that means address why conflict is so confusing or hard to you. Figure it out and bring a solution. Don't just be like, oh,
yeah, I would
too hard.
I would assess it in yourself, and I also think from therapist's point of view, a couple different attachment styles like avoidance. Can't even think of it.
Listen to the Therapist Uncensored podcast. They have attachment style episodes, and the last one that I just listened to was so weird but amazing. Listen to Therapist Uncensored, because I think you need to do your own work here. But you're seeing it as if it's like you're a passive participant. You're not. You are a fully active participant in this process, and you have the ability to change this. Which is
like that point.
Which is hard.
You do have the ability. You actually do. And I was thinking on it because I haven't run on the treadmill for a couple days, and I kind of got winded, And in that book that I always talk about, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, listen to it. It's phenomenal. If you do something once and you don't die or break your leg or get crazy injured for a million years, you can do it again. It's up here in your mind. So I haven't ran, and I've been eating kind of trashy recently, right? I was like, oh my gosh. And it's a big thing for me to run at 7.0 on the treadmill for 30 minutes. It ends up being 3.5 miles or something, and it's a good pace, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to push myself to do at 7 speed for 30 minutes. Why? Because I've done it before. I have absolutely done it before. My body is more than physically doing it. I could run for an hour, probably. It's here in your mind. So if you have been vulnerable once before, you can do it again. If you've been scared to do something once before, you absolutely can do it again. You can do it. Good point.
Let me say something really, I think that illustrates the point in a funny way. So think about how long it takes kids to learn to tie their shoes. It would be like saying, oh, I really don't like conflict, so I'm never going to address it. I don't like tying my shoes. Velcro forever. Right? It's like that. It's like saying, because this is hard, probably shouldn't do it.
And then we
or driving. You know how long it took you to learn how to drive a car? A very long time. So don't say, because it's hard, I don't like it, I'm going to back away. Build your own strength. Build your own sort of durability, your own ability to bring a solution, to get through something hard. And you will change your own life in a way that you cannot imagine. And your roommate situation with your partner is absolutely going to change, but not if you wear Velcro shoes forever.
That's right.
It just never. You can't say too hard.
So I want to be respectful. If there's any past trauma around this, I want to be respectful. We're not just saying dive in. Who cares? Look. Nope, not that. That would be flippant and irresponsible on both of our parts, especially me as a therapist. So we're not saying that, and we don't know if there is. If there is that, then definitely go to a therapist and talk about this stuff. But if there's not, if we're just skirting around, there's been nothing major, then you absolutely can do it. You said durable, and I'm thinking of, or durability, like endurability. The ability to endure,
yeah.
you know, and that's like, we all have that. We forget that we do, and it has to be
but
cultivated
yeah,
as
if
well.
you need
Next
therapy,
question.
go get therapy, get counseling, talk with somebody.
Okay, how about this? I'd love to hear both your perspectives on gender roles in marriage and how to approach it in a loving, non-power dynamic way.
I have a lot to say about this.
I do too. I
Say
have
it.
more.
Okay, say it.
You go first.
No, you do it.
I'm the man, I'm the leader, so you have to.
Oh gosh.
Just joking, barfest. Okay, go ahead.
The thing that I would say about gender roles is that I think sometimes when we have an over focus on our differences, it is actually quite unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's think about it. It's going to sound real weird and really uncomfortable for a moment. Let's think about it racially. What if I was like, oh, well, Native Americans, they can do this. White people, they do that.
Right.
What did I just say? Is that really what I said? Yes, that's really what I said.
Mm-hmm.
It is not helpful to be like, oh, men can do this and women can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And based on their genitals, I should assume that they can do something with more skill or less skill. It's
Right.
not super helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And just as a side educational note, we are all the same things, just organized differently.
Mm-hmm.
We are a homologue of one another. Look it up. But we're not very different.
One log.
Okay, gross.
You said
Homologue.
yeah, that means
It does not mean
That means
one.
money.
Oh, jeez.
many.
Don't. Okay. Anyway, so we are the
Uno.
we're more alike than we think we are.
Yes, very much so.
And so instead of looking at it as this giant umbrella of gender, just replace that word with race. It just seems as silly when you
Okay.
replace it with race. Wait. We need to look at our individual strengths as humans, as individual humans, right? Like maybe you're really good at this thing and I'm really good at that thing. Let's start there and not worry so much about what skills could a man typically do. That's really not helpful.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I like to look at it this way. Kind of similar, but I kind of disagree with you a little bit because there are inherent differences in the masculine and the feminine.
Yes,
right?
but there also are men who are not extremely masculine.
That's right.
And
So-
women who are not particularly feminine, and it is a disservice to say
but
to lean that way.
Well, yeah, but most masculine. Okay, so but there, if you look at it from percentages, right? You said some aren't, right? Okay, so I want to respect that, but most masculine features are there. There's more. Okay, so if we look at it through like the nature lens, like I like to look at stuff through like elk and deer. Okay, like the male deer do certain things that the female deer don't. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Both are inherent gifts given, I believe, from God, from Creator, and that is their role, right? And you know, we're not like going pouncing around saying, "Hey, you can't do that. That's me." No, it's like
There are people that do that, though.
there are people that do that, and they abuse that, and it's in the church. It's super messed up and goofy, right? So the stuff about like, oh, a woman's place is in the home. Well, if she wants to, and they both agree to it. But I'm not starting out with that just because traditionally it's been that way forever, right? You know what I'm saying? But like, I can do things that you can't do as well as I can. You can do them, and vice versa, right? You do things that I can do, but you just do them better. So it makes sense in the overall thing. It's like, okay, yeah, she kind of leans towards this mostly. I lean towards this mostly. That's okay. And guess what? Those roles can kind of change sometimes too.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
That what I'm saying is starting at the place of what are the gender stereotypes and should I follow those is less helpful than saying what are my individual strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to throw out that in nature, if there is no male lion, a female lion will grow a mane and become essentially a male lion.
Okay, then
Which
that's
is
good.
so I want to, but I just want to think of the idea and think
Right.
of it differently.
And in society today, with the lack of fathers in the house, women have had to become the female lion and do all this stuff that
Well,
men
let me-
should not traditionally.
Let me say it another way around. I think women have been doing that all along.
Mm-hmm.
Men have been out doing things, and women have always carried the burden of all of essentially humanity on their shoulders.
Right.
But men take the credit.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a huge way. I'm not saying that that's even a bad thing. Men are doing different elements of it.
Right.
Women are doing different elements of it. But to start at the place of gender as our foundation of what is good for this person or bad for this person is not healthy. To start a foundation of what is individually strong for this person or weak for this person is much healthier. And then coming together in a marriage and saying, oh, you're good at paying the bills. Oh, you're not good at paying the bills. Maybe I should take that over. Or we do it like in a partnership. Or maybe having this sort of really flexible mindset around what individuals do, not what men and women do. That's what I'm saying is we keep having the gender conversation, not super helpful.
But also you can look at history and see where things, not like weird patriarchal history where like, oh, well, that was really messed up. But just like, okay, in healthy communities, okay, so we had some teaching on this at Medicine Wheel teaching a couple days ago. And traditionally, people, what are you reading? Oh, yeah. Traditionally, men had this role or energy or this was, okay, so you know how Cassis talks about best and highest calling?
Yes.
Right? So, like, because I have certain traits that you don't have, my best and highest calling is typically over here, right?
Sure.
Whatever that is. And because you have, your best and highest calling, your energy, your feminine stuff is over here. You're not following me, are you?
It's
You're
not that I'm not
weird...
following you. I think it's a very fundamentally flawed thing to think that it's inherently your maleness that gave you that. It's a cultural thing you were taught. And if your father taught me that, I would be like, yes, my gifting is here. It's taught. It's taught by society and culture. It's taught by a paradigm that says this is what men do and that is what women do. And in societies where it's not divided that way, it's totally different looking.
Okay, so look at a flower.
Like island
so there are
societies
there are male and female flowers, right?
Yes.
So a male flower only puts out a certain thing, right? And a female flower puts out a certain thing, right? There's no like, oh, this is what, the patriarchy says. That is inherent to that male flower, right? That's not, a woman can't, or a female flower doesn't have that, right? And the same thing. So there's certain roles, they're like literally designed that way, right? And I'm not talking about like, oh, men is the head of the household or anything like that.
Yeah, no,
I don't
that's what I'm saying. That's what's annoying me in this conversation is that, yes, women and men are biologically different.
Yes.
Some aren't, in fact. Some, there are, what is the word? When people's genitalia is not one or the other.
Right.
And it's mixed up, right? That is a thing that happens. No big deal. Biologically, we're different, sure. But when it comes to the roles that we have in a home or in society or in a culture, it is not black and white. It's not because you have testosterone, you do this, and you have estrogen, you do that.
Right.
It is not like that. And I think we do more damage than we do good by saying men should, women should. It's not helpful because, yes, although we are biologically different, and yes, you produce sperm and I have eggs, that does not mean that I'm not good at supporting our entire family financially, right? And it's very frustrating because I don't think.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I know you're not saying that, and that's what I am saying. Like, yes, biologically we're different, and there's a whole lot of factors that go into that. You are physically stronger. You all of those other things, but that has nothing to do with relational things and our home. You're not taking into account societal impact. Like, part of you has been suppressed as a man in your relational skills because you're a man. Not helpful.
Right.
Not helpful. And that started on the basis of your gender. The school system went, oh, he's a boy, let him play. He doesn't need to learn relational skills.
Right.
Oh, she's a girl, tell her she's going to get pregnant, tell her she's going to get an STD. There's a lot to be, that's how sex ed is for girls.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you're going to get pregnant, you're going to get an STD, don't have sex to be a slut. It's not the same thing as it is for men, only because of our gender, not because of our biology, not because of our individual personhood or our humanness. And that's what I'm saying is when we talk about gender, you're talking about biologically.
Right.
This person, I'm pretty sure, is asking about gender structurally, socially, relationally in a marriage situation. And what I think is damaging is that you're trying to say the biological points while not seeing that it doesn't have anything to do with the social, relational stuff, almost at all. It's like saying a male dog can't run as far as a female dog. What are you talking about? Yeah, they can. They're great. They're both good. Like wolves, female, male, same thing. You can do whatever.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I am saying like
I know, but
like looking at nature helps me make sense of it and understand it and explain it.
yeah. Well, when deer start running households and driving cars, then we can have that conversation. When a deer's got to have a job and raise their kids,
right?
We can have that conversation because I think the biological, I think the stress on the biological side, the emphasis on the biological differences of men and women, it's the same thing that people do with race, the race conversation. Well, I'm a man, I can do whatever, and I'm white, and I've done all of these things. It takes zero account. It doesn't not take into account all of the things that the culture has put on different races, marginalized people groups. It does not take those things into account. So that's what I'm getting at. I think it's actually damaging to start at our differences. We can acknowledge them, honor difference, promote linkages. I mean, it's Dan Siegel's stuff there. But I think when we start at genders, men do this, women do that, it's not helpful.
How do you think that worked for us? Because obviously we were heavily influenced by a goofy church in our early marriage, and
I was not raised the same way that you were raised, though.
Yeah, no, but we both went to.
But I didn't believe a lot of the stuff that they taught.
Right.
I mean, I never was
so I'll
like,
even go back further. So your mom never. Well, she worked a little bit, but mostly she stayed home, and your dad worked. Right. So that was very influential in how you grew up. Right. Just because that was your family of origin. Right. But we never had a real conversation. At least I don't think. Like, okay, Melanie, I'm going to do this and you do that and we'll be cool. It's just like we kind of literally gravitated, you do this better, do it. I do this better, do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I didn't buy the garbage of men do this, women do that.
Right.
I didn't ever, my dad would never let me buy that garbage. My mom would never let me buy that garbage. And it was taught to me that everyone is valuable. Doesn't matter, male, female, rich, poor, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, whatever. So I think that's why. I was never like, oh, I'm a wife, I'm supposed to do this. I was just like, I'm going to do whatever I want. And respect you and your strengths and respect myself and my strengths.
Right.
And I think that's one of the parts of it too, is that when we talk about gender as the premise for all the things we're able or unable to do, we don't actually respect and honor what we can and cannot do.
Exactly.
We don't honor our own...
We put ourselves in a box and just think, oh, well, this box is the way, and then that doesn't open up our other gifts.
And then we feel very unfulfilled.
That's right.
5, 10, 15 years later.
Okay, that was like a real conversation.
It was a real conversation.
And so we're almost to time here, so I want to look at some comments. Brad, especially if a couple works different shifts, then we both have to do the same roles in the home at different times. That's right.
Avoiding conflict, not this couple. Thanks for being real. That's really funny.
Hermaphroditism.
I can't think. It's not a hermaphrodite. It's intersexed. It's an intersex.
Okay. Yeah, that might be a different.
But thank you for throwing that out there.
So, okay. Hey, Rachel, what's up? Hey, Sean Shoot.
What?
Sean's cut? I'm not sure. Sean Shoot?
I just like that someone's last name is Tiger. Dang, I'm jealous of that.
Okay, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. We're on 27 minutes. We want to remind you to go to audibletrial.com/anatomy of marriage to get a free ebook. We talk about the Kyle Cease book all the time. I hope I screwed this up. It's really good. It's really good. Read that. Also, the Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. That is really good. So go get those 2 books. You get one for free. But
and also check out the new episode with Anthony O'Neill. It's really, really awesome. And please, please, please rate and review the podcast on iTunes. It does us a huge favor. It's very helpful for people to find the show. It puts us up in the rankings. So if you haven't done it yet, please take the time to do that right this very moment. I'm going to wait so you can do it. Ready?
No, she's not.
Also, thank you to people who have rated and reviewed the podcast. It's really awesome. So y'all are amazing.
All right.
Have a wonderful day. Do not limit yourself based on your gender.
Don't do it.
So mad. Anyway.
All right. Bye, guys.
Talk to you later.
See
Bye.
We faked you out. We're not leaving yet.
But
we turned the podcast off.
We did.
See you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Love you.
Thank you.